Hello everyone, my name is Danny Kim. I am a violist in the Boston Symphony Orchestra, and today I'll be talking about a viola excerpt by Beethoven, Symphony No. 5, the second movement. This is a very standard excerpt for many auditions. And first what I'll do is I'll play through the excerpt, and then I'll talk a bit about the things that I think about when I practice them, when I practice this excerpt, and then I'll play through it once more at the end for you guys. So here we go. Okay, so the things that I think about probably the most when I'm practicing this excerpt, especially when I'm playing it for an audition, number one is the rhythm. So this is a tricky excerpt with being very accurate with these dotted 16th notes to a 32nd note. So the very first phrase. So the big danger is that those can sometimes start to turn into triplets. So these can start to sound 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that's not quite the right rhythm. It has to be. So I try to subdivide as I'm playing this, and it's better to err on those not being on the lazy side, but kind of being a little more bum, buddy. So that's the biggest danger in this one. So I'll try showing it. The triplet version would sound like this, which is the wrong version, is more like this. So that's not, it's very subtle, but if you can show that you are observing the dotted 16th to the 32nd very accurately, it shows that you've really thought about the excerpt well through. So. This is also this note. Many people will accidentally play this. But it's a dotted 16th to a 32nd, so it should be. So you have to make sure you play that exact rhythm correctly. And then the next one, this is a 16. Yeah, so the beginning, whatever, 5-6 bars, the rhythm is very, very important in general throughout this excerpt. The other thing I think about is the sound. The sound, it's a classical piece, and what I try to go for here is warmth. Warmth of sound. You basically want to show off how beautiful the viola can sound. So you're on your nice C string to start with, and it's hard to maybe do this through a video, but the danger is we can start to be a little too active and a little too, the pianos and the fortes can sometimes be a little too aggressive. So it's a very simple melody, and it should sound simple and beautiful. So that's probably the biggest thing. You should always achieve that throughout. So one of the common things that can happen that is not desirable would be the first forte that you see, which is this one. This one. You probably even heard I just even cracked the note a little bit. You don't need to play that too strongly. Remember, you're playing this with an entire string section. You're not playing, it's not a solo, so you will have a lot of teammates to help you play that forte, so you don't need to be aggressive with it at all. So, and then same thing, the danger can sometimes be which is not, it's not a pretty sound right there. So you want to make sure it's very natural sounding. So just showing that you are raising the dynamic and showing that you observe that there's a piano and a forte, but it doesn't need to be very, very soft and very, very loud throughout this excerpt. Trying to think if there's anything else for the next part. These triplets, I would play them a little bit off the string, but not dry. I try to think, the word I would use is brushy. So, and that last one, I kind of like to do it down, up, up, down, just because it allows me to end on a down and kind of finish the phrase a little bit nicely. And then in that passage I just played, I try also, rather than just thinking the whole time of triplet, try to make a line with it, because this is an accompanimental figure to the other voices in the orchestra. So have that other voice melody in your head and phrase with that voice that's also in your head. That'll help you make this accompanimental figure sound very musical, which is also what they're looking for in auditions. The next section, just after this, is also triplets, but it's fortissimo. Again, the danger is trying to play these too aggressively loud and you start to crack the string and you don't make a beautiful sound. So in every audition, you never want to make an ugly sound unless for some reason there's something written in the score, maybe a ponticello or something where that asks for it. But otherwise, you want to make a beautiful sound the whole time, especially in this excerpt. So I wouldn't go for... That might be fortissimo in my energy, but it's not a very pretty sound. So I try to just get as full of a sound without making an ugly sound. So. And then here I do 2 ups. So I can be down on the sforzano, which again, you don't need to slam. Not like that. And then make sure you phrase that last part. You can kind of phrase off a little bit, just to show that you're aware of the other voices going on in the orchestra. I'm trying to think anything else that would be useful for this excerpt. Basically, what they're looking for is the basic things you're looking for in most auditions, which is rhythm, intonation, and beautiful sound. Those 3 are very, very, very important in any orchestral audition you'll take. And if you can show that you have that, that will allow you to do well. And the next thing you need, once you get those 3 basic things down, is kind of adding your flavor to it. So adding some musicality to it, adding some phrasing, kind of showing the committee that you've thought through the excerpt more than just what's on the page. You know the score. You're a thoughtful musician, and you realize what else is going on in the orchestra, and you realize that you're going to be a part of a 100-person, potentially 100-person orchestra. So I'll play through the excerpt one more time, and hopefully this video was a help for you guys. Actually, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about that I also mentioned in the major things that they're looking for in audition, and that is the intonation. So this is a tricky excerpt because it's 4 flats. It doesn't fit in the hand very well. So you have to be very careful. In general, the tendency is to go a little sharp, and I possibly was just now too. I have to kind of force my hand to stay low for some of these flats. Make sure that first fourth is perfectly in tune. That fifth is also tricky. And then if if I hit this next note, this open G, and it sounds flat to me, then that means I have already gone sharp. So those open pitches, often when I play excerpts, are a way for me to stay centered in my pitch, so I don't, they're kind of like anchors, basically. So I'll try once more playing through this thing. I'm going to really try thinking about the intonation to make sure I'm not going too sharp. That was not right. You can also check your notes with the open G there. So there's many ways to check your intonation. For instance, I do double stops a lot of the time. So it wasn't perfect, but that's the other thing in auditions. Don't expect yourself to play perfectly. On the other side of the screen, we are not looking for perfection either. We're looking for a good musician on the other side. So we want somebody that is a beautiful player and has all the technique it's required to play at a very high level. But if you make mistakes, don't worry about them. I made mistakes in my audition, and it's totally normal. And everybody knows that. Everybody makes mistakes because we are human. And if you do make a mistake, don't worry about it, move on, and just get better throughout the audition if that's the case. So anyway, hope this video helped. I will see you guys again soon for the next videos that I make. So hope you guys are staying strong. We're thinking about you, and good luck with everything. Thanks.